So in this video we will be looking at the symmetrical triangle chart pattern. We will start the video off by taking a look at what identifies the pattern, how does it look like, and how can we spot it on the chart. And after that we will take a look at how to trade it. So what are some possible entry points and what are some possible profit target levels. So yeah, I really hope that sounds interesting, and without further ado, let's get started right away here. And one more thing, before we start, I just have to give a disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice. But alright, so let's start the video off by taking a look at some theory. So how does the pattern look like, and what does the pattern actually tell us? Alright, so the symmetrical triangle pattern. The first thing we need to know about this pattern is that it is a continuation pattern. This means that it is a pattern that suggests that a trend will continue in the same direction. So if we have, for example, a stock that trends up like this, the symmetrical triangle is basically when the stock price prints a high at this orange point, then it falls back and prints a low, right? This other orange point, but then it comes up here and prints a lower high. So we have one lower high, and then it falls back once again and print a higher low. And it is first when we have two touches on the downsloping resistance right here and two touches on the upsloping support when we can actually start to say that we have a symmetrical triangle developing. And it's pretty usual that we once again print yet another lower high and a higher low. But since this is a continuation pattern, what the pattern suggests is that we eventually actually break out here to the upside and continue the trend up. With that said, in trading, we're always talking about, probabilities, and nothing is certain. So it is also possible that we actually break to the downside here. And this might actually be a signal that we have a potential trend reversal. So this pattern could also act as a reversal pattern, but most of the time it is a continuation pattern. But alright, so now let's take a look at how do we trade the pattern. And the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, how do we enter? So what is some good entry points? And one method you can use is that you actually enter right away on the breakout. So you enter at this point when we have a confirmed breakout. So let us actually switch to a real life example to take a look at an example of an entry. So right here on the chart, we're looking at the Nasdaq index on the daily time frame. And as you can see here, right here, we have a symmetrical triangle. After we had 1-2 touches on the downsloping resistance and 1-2 touches on the upsloping support, we have a symmetrical triangle starting to develop here. And if you would have entered on the breakout, you would have entered right here. As you can see, this is the first candle that closes above this downsloping white line. What you may notice here is that you had actually a pretty strong movement here above the triangle. But what is important to note here is that this day never managed to close above the downsloping white line. So that is, very common that you actually wait for the candle close before you enter, if you are entering at a breakout. Another method, which you can use if you are a bit more conservative, is that a lot of traders don't like to enter right at the breakout like here, because there is still a high possibility that it will be a false breakout and that we will fall right back into the triangle. So some traders wait for another day, so yet another candle to close outside the triangle. Or some traders even wait for more confirmation. But if you would have waited for one confirmation candle, you would have entered right here. Another way to entry is that you wait for the first pullback. So when we break out, price will eventually pull back here to the downside. And some traders like to wait for this pullback before they enter here. And one possible point is that we actually pull back all the way down and test this previous resistance, right, as support. It is also possible that we want to entry at the previous high and test this line as support. So let's jump back into the chart here and take a look at an example. So as you can see here, after we broke out, we had a strong move here to the upside. Then we had, but then right here, we actually had our first pullback. So how do you know when to enter? Well, in this case, the price did not fall all the way down to the downsloping white line. However, we did actually find support, as you can see on this line. Let me make it a bit bigger. You can see that we did actually find support on this previous high. So we had a high here and we flipped this high to become support. So that is also another way to, enter. You wait for the first pullback. You wait for buyers to step up at previous resistance levels that have a possibility to then flip and become support. Last but not least, let's take a look at some targets. So at what levels do you take profits? When do you actually exit the trade? And when it comes to profit targets, there are basically two main methods you can use. There are probably lots of more methods, but in this video, I'm going to show two main ways to take profits here. And the first one we're going to take a look at is the 100% measured move. What is that? Well, the 100% measured move is basically that you measure how large is our structure. So you measure from the high of the triangle to the very low of the triangle. Then you take this measurement, the length of this measurement, and then you measure here from the breakout. And if we would have used this level to take profits, we would have taken profits all the way up here. And as you can see in this case, this was actually pretty much a perfect profit level. And after we reached this 100% measure move, we actually reversed here and saw a strong impulse to the downside. Another way to take profits here is that you use the same slope as the lower line of the triangle. So the same slope as this one. You copy the slope of the lower line, and then you take this slope and measure from the high. So in this case, we would continue this one like this. And then a way to take profits is to take profits when the price reaches this slope. So in this case, you would have taken profits a bit earlier, right around here. This was January 26 on the Nasdaq chart. But alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. If you feel like you got any kind of help or value, then please consider dropping a like. And if you guys are interested in more, then don't hesitate to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I hope I will catch you guys in the next video. But for now guys, take care. Ciao, ciao.